Some of us are standing right in front of what God is calling us into, but we won't move forward because we don't know what's on the other side. This powerful message comes from Pastor Steven Furtick of Elevation Church. On Pentecost Sunday, he preached about a story from the second book of Kings, chapter 3. 3 kings, the king of Israel, the king of Judah, and the king of Edom, were marching together to fight against Moab. But before they could even reach the battle, something happened. They ran out of water in the wilderness. Have you ever been there? Already stressed, already fighting one battle. And then suddenly another problem shows up. You feel drained before you even arrive at the fight. If you know that feeling after watching the video, type "I've been there" in the comments. You might encourage someone else who's watching. The kings were desperate. Without water, their soldiers and animals couldn't survive. So they called on the prophet Elisha. At first, Elisha didn't even want to speak to them, but then he said something strange. "Bring me a musician." And as the music played, the hand of the Lord came upon him. We can see the presence of God showed up right in the middle of their desert, and the same God can show up in yours. Maybe your desert is financial pressure. Maybe it's an unanswered prayer for healing. Maybe it's the loneliness you feel at night. But God says in Lamentations 3:23, His mercies are new every morning. He provides strength one day at a time. Pastor Furtick reminded us that sometimes God moves suddenly. Miracles, breakthroughs, chains breaking instantly. But more often, He moves steadily. Just because it doesn't happen suddenly doesn't mean God isn't working. Think about it. When you look back over your life, hasn't God been steady? Maybe you didn't notice it in the moment, but He was holding you up. The kings thought they were finished, but Elisha prophesied that God would fill the valley with water. Out of nowhere, provision came. Sometimes the doors that shut, the people who walk away, or the opportunities that collapse, those aren't the end. They are God's redirection. A memorable quote from Pastor Furtick: "They had to say no so He could say yes." Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him." Elisha's breakthrough came through a musician whose hands were ready. When the moment came, he didn't have to practice. He had prepared. That's a word for us. Don't wait for the miracle to get ready. Worship now, forgive now, serve now. Because when God moves suddenly, He looks for hands that are steady. So what does this mean for us today? When you're in a desert season, don't give up. Stay steady, keep it praying, keep worshiping. When it feels like rejection, remember God's redirection. What looks like a dead end might be God leading you to the water you didn't know was coming. Trust His hand both sudden and steady, because He knows what's on the other side of the step He's asking you to take. Friend, you may not know what's on the other side once, but God does. His hand is steady enough to guide you and strong enough to deliver you. Pastor Steven Furtick said it best: "Behind every sudden blessing is a steady hand." So let me ask you again, what if the very thing you're afraid to step into is the very place where God wants to show His greatest faithfulness? If this message encouraged you, please like this video so more people can be reached. Comment below, what's the battle you're trusting God with right now? Share this with a friend who needs hope today. And don't miss the full sermon from Pastor Steven Furtick at Elevation Church. The link is in the description. Go watch it, because this summary is only the beginning of what God can speak to you through that message.